So here is the Simat 101 lathe, seen in the first video in a lettuce box, cardboard box. It's now been screwed down onto an old cupboard door that I've taken. Well, I took off some old kitchen units which I've put in the garage. Being old, I think they had fairly solid plywood doors, painted doors. The problem with having doors on cupboards is you can't see what's in the cupboards, and it's hard to get into the cupboards when you've got as much junk leaning against the cupboards as I have. So the cupboards are better for having the door off. The motor's screwed down there as well, not terribly well tensioned on that pulley yet. I mean, I've not tightened the motor up particularly well. I've mounted the motor on some of this foam material. It's a bubbled plastic foam that was just used for packing something. I've kept it for protection of model railway items perhaps, but at the moment there's just a piece of that underneath the motor. I don't know if it provides any damping. The problem with the belt is that it's too large. It doesn't sit at the right height in those pulleys. It will just about turn the thing, but in order to change the belt, I assume, though I've not tried it, that you have to take the whole of the headstock spindle assembly out. So it's a major operation unless you cut that belt and put one of these segmented belts in that you can get. So that's going to be a bit of a problem for me. Now, I've done the thing you see with a lot of these is right through a domestic light switch. I've done the same. The reason for that is I don't have a spare no volt release switch. I have, though, already ordered one via eBay, and it will be through NVR. Interestingly, I went into an electrical wholesaler's and they didn't have a clue as to what an NVR was. They wanted to sell me an RCD, a current trip, which of course would be unsuitable. The NVR is what protects you from being wrapped up in the lathe if the power goes off and then comes back on again unexpectedly. But this is what I've been waiting for, I guess you've been waiting for. The motor, not a capacitor start motor, it's one of those with a centrifugal switch on the end, so it energises a couple of coils to get it started and then gets the lathe going. I can't cut anything because I haven't got a key for the chuck at the front. But that's just to show that it turns. I've put some oil into those bearings. It is a plain steel spindle in the cast iron of the headstock, so there's no other bearing surface, but it is apparently very good cast iron, and so as long as I put some oil into the oil ways, you can see the worm on the end, which does in fact power the, I'll just show that before we go. If we undo this screw, engage that, difficult to engage without, there we go, tighten that a little bit. Then what happens is that turns that worm, turns this, which powers the feed, the horizontal feed, very slowly. Certainly wouldn't do for screw cutting because all that's happening is that's moving slowly. Single direction, there's no reversing on this at all, no provision for reversing. There isn't a clutch on this version of this lathe, this edition, but you can see that the end hand wheel is turning now, and we've got power feed. So the thing to be aware of is that if you don't stop it, then the tool will crash into the chuck. And so what we've got to do is stop it doing that. And no automatic disengagement, no manual disengagement at all. Not while it's rotating anyway. The only way of disengaging it is by taking the drive away at this end. And then it's a lot of turns to manually wind it back. There we go.